I haven't done this before. I've been following the series for about half my life. I don't know the exact. I could figure out the exact week I caught up. I could even figure out the exact week I started reading. I don't know them off the top of my head, though. But yeah, first time doing a reaction to it. I guess. And I never talk about it online because I don't really want it on my feed because otherwise I get spoiled. So I just sort of consume it. And I'll watch a couple of videos. Maybe I'll watch one or two reactions. I'll listen to the One Piece podcast, and then I'll read the discussion threads, and that'll be my interaction with One Piece fandom. I'm not as big into it as I'm not as big into the community as I used to be. So yeah, my first time really making any kind of public statements or anything on this. So hopefully it's a good chapter. Hopefully this doesn't paint me as like a hater or anything. One Piece, chapter 1180, Omen. Cool title. Hopefully one day I'll finish writing and people will understand why I like the word omen so much. But just gonna have to nod silently here. Vegapunk modifying Zeus to rain candy instead of water. This is a cool pun. I'm catching on the puns already. And that is that rain and candy can both be pronounced, well, are both usually pronounced. I can't think of enough way to say them. In Japanese, it's ame. Ame. So instead of it being ame as in rain, it's ame as in candy. And I like that. By Honey Liquor. Well, sounds like someone who would want candy to rain from the sky to me. Ooh, I am glad we're getting this. I'm very glad we're getting this. Dororon, dororon, au, dororon, daran. And we see Emu, Saint Nerona Emu, staring over the flaming Elbath of the chanting houses. Looking very cool. Rah. Oh, he pops away and appears before all the giants. That is the coolest thing you can do after doing a cool aura farming entrance, is just teleport in front of the people gawking at you from afar. Who is, oh god, I never even stop to think I've got to do One Piece voices. And I know I don't do many voices, but if there's any One Piece character I've got to give a voice to, it's Emu. Oh, I don't know. I feel like figure it out later. Who is the king of this land? And I like that we're getting a real full body view of him here. Does have that Viking-like belt and scrap of trousers. I mean, the dots are very interesting. Yeah. I mean, me and my friend had like a really long discussion last week about everything about this design. So I'm not just going to regurgitate everything I said with him, but yeah, interesting that there's like one line coming up his body to cover his eye. And who do you think he... I can't do that voice for a giant. I can't give every giant a super deep, obnoxious voice. I'm going to just have to read them like normal people. And who do you think you are? This land has no king. He's picking up Sama's. Great one. Oh. Wait, what? Oh, no. No, it's not him picking up Sama's. He's looking at Good, holding Sama's and cutting him free. I do not like that. What art thou doing, Sommers? Huh? Good. Zoro's going... Well, Zoro is not taking that kindly. Sommers falls to the ground. Everyone's freaking out about Good's fingers. Bastard. The houses are still laughing. How gruesome. Who is that guy? Zoro. Oh, Zoro's standing in front of Emu. Oh, this is going to be an opportunity to get him injured for the rest of the arc, isn't it? Whew, got it. Sommers has got his heart. Are you in the Knights of God too? Emu stares down at Zoro. Either way, he's an enemy. Hyrudin! Hyrudin comes from above. But, oh, how many of these giants can I remember the names of? I think this is Stanson, maybe. I'm going to say Stanson. Stanson tells Hyrudin to stay back. We don't know what he can do. He cuts off Stanson, maybe's leg as he kicks Hyrudin out of the way. Stanson! I got the name right. Lots of injuries here. I know One Piece tends to be pretty blasé with healing injuries. You know, see the mountain god from Wano. Just stitch it back together. But, I mean, this is Emu's introduction. We could be dealing some real serious damage here. Ah! Stay away from him! Ah, I'm sorry, Stanson. Who is that? King of Hell, Free Sword Serpent, Purgatory Onigiri. And Zoro clashes with Emu's tail. Clashing with Emu's tail with one of his strongest attacks. Well, I mean, it is just an Onigiri, but it's the King of Hell modifier. Just against Emu's tail, leaving Emu completely unfazed to do a omen. What is an omen? Let's get into that. Creates a black flame connected to that white line going up to his eye, so that might be something. And it goes cha-ching, which money? No, just a black force. Zoro! Emu notices Hyrudin coming from above. Does a ooh, oh, I like that. So they're both like that. He does like I guess a double omen is what you would call that. Ka-chunk! Launches an angry face at Hyrudin, and it is a big explosion of haki. That is scorching Hyrudin, knocking him to the ground. Oh, what are these black flames? Emu summons a ring of black flame, which is bestowing itself upon Sommers, and he seems overjoyed. Ah, yes, omen! Make haste, Sommers. There is little time. Yes, great one. Okay, well, he seems chuffed to have this omen ring around him. I wonder... Yeah. Revitalizing? So, some kind of power? I guess he's not damaged, so it's not going to be any kind of healing. I guess just another power boost. Yes, great one. And he jumps off into the sky. The houses... Okay, it's Emu jumping off into the sky. I wasn't sure. Just look to the other page. The houses calm down. Zoro, get inside. Everyone else, gather up the injured and the knocked out kids. And Jarl is lamenting. Warning to all of Elbaf. Some kind of being greater than the Knights of God has landed on the island. Be on guard. Oh, I'm glad we're getting all these different angles of Emu. Perfect for all the fan artists. What's here now? You mean it's not over? Keep your weapons on you. We've had enough of the fires and collapses. Emu notices the frozen block containing Gunko. And he... Okay, what's going on here? So that's his halberd. And... what have we seen of his halberd? Because I noticed last time it was like cloudy on one end and a zigzag blade on the other. So he can aim the cloudy end and it's like an omen cannon. Okay, so he fires the omen cannon at Gunko, blows her up. I'm going to assume she's going to be okay from that. I mean, yeah, we've seen him come back from worse. Yeah, that's... I'm going to assume he's going to regret doing that, because Gunko is definitely primed to flip sides with what we know about Brooke and her past. Team Gaban by the lift, Sunworld. What's going on? Even at God Valley, I never felt hockey like this. At the Walrus School, was that Fire? You charred it. Loki burnt all the meat. I guess beggars can't be choosers. It's better than being frozen. Now stockpile your energy. I think we've got a real monster on the island now. I think so. What? Goody. Oh, I love Ragnar. Oh god, already showing, but maybe I don't remember enough about him. Is it? Yeah, Ragnar. It's not Ragnar, also known as. It was like, oh yeah, it was just called Ratatosker or something in the flashback, in that little one flashback we got. But yeah, Ragnar. Hey, what's happening? I don't know, but the hockey is tremendous. If it's an ally of the Knights of God, then they might be after. Huh? Great one! Killingham is also very overjoyed. Thank you for the omen. Hey, who's that? He's dangerous, Sanji. Okay, so we've had Zoro completely fail to do anything against Emu. Now it's time for Sanji to also be humbled. Who said you could release him? Sanji's blocked by Emu's foot, knocked back and kicked back, getting a taste of his own medicine. Explosive hockey kick. Oh, that's a hell of a thing. Whoa! What are these black flames? Fun little carry through from Kagurabachi to One Piece. These black flames. I guess maybe this chapter of Kagurabachi didn't have black flames, but you know the power of darkness, the true realm of power. Hey, what do you want with Elbaf? Someone's stepping up to Emu. I search for the killer of my faithful servant Harold, who was slain here 14 years past. He was not your servant. Harold was my father, the king of Elbaf, and I'm the man you're looking for. I see. If not for thee, all this trouble would be avoided. Here in the real world, you deal with me and Elbaf. Remember that, clown. That is a sick Loki panel. Oh, nice. I mean, looking forward to this. Loki versus Emu. We might actually get a pretty cool fight next week. Oh, next week? Is it next week? Let me. We'd break week last week. Yeah, a new chapter in 7 days. Good to see. Yeah. Let's put the chapter back on. Yeah, I mean, this is probably going to be like the highest level 1v1 we've ever seen in One Piece. Like, Loki's already ridiculous. Emu's ridiculous. This could destroy the island. I'm glad we got to see Hyrudin give it a shot at first. I mean, like, you know, we know Hyrudin is not going to be measuring up to Loki in the slightest. You know, it's the issue of a character introduced in Dressrosa and a character introduced in Elbaf. You know, but I'm glad he is this cool panel. I'm glad he gave it a shot. And, you know, I think it would suck if it was like Hyrudin does nothing, but Zoro and Sanji are able to make Emu pant or something. You know, Hyrudin deserves at least a moment to not look like a fraud. And I think this does a good job. Some people will probably strongly disagree with that statement, but I like that he's not being depicted. I mean, at least you can say, well, Zoro and Sanji land hits, but I mean, that's because Emu decided to block instead of counter. But, you know, I like the portrayal of Hyrudin here. It's about as flattering as it's going to get for him, I feel. Loki, though, that is something to look forward to. But yeah, I do wonder. So, I see. If not for thee, all this trouble would be avoided. Did Emu not know it was Loki? Because, I mean, I've been hearing a lot of theories and, like, people discussing. Emu seems low-key kind of dumb, and low-key was not intentional there. with how he's like, ah, yes, Elbath, the place with the legends of what's it called again? What's it called again? Needhog fruit. Yes, the place with all the legends of the Needhog fruit. That's where the Needhog fruit was. But yeah, maybe stuff's piling up with like Emu should probably know this. Emu should probably know that. Would he? Like I can try and run through all the events in my head, but I'm really not sure. Should Emu know that Loki's the one who killed Harold? I guess he wasn't looking through Harold's eyes when it happened. Context clues, though? Did he see any of Loki? Did he know that Loki fled the kingdom? I mean, I guess maybe things were set up where Emu could have believed Shanks or Gaban did it. But I guess it wouldn't be Shanks. I guess Emu wouldn't have seen anything because, yeah. Just a second, I need a mute. Okay. Yeah. All right. I see you in chat, Rafs. Yeah, we are on peak. Interesting. Emu didn't know they didn't choose a new king after Harold died, too. I mean, I guess I would assume they picked a new king. Yeah. I would assume they would pick a new, if I was in Emu's shoes, I'd probably assume they picked a new king. But yeah, how much does he know about Loki and what Loki's done? Elbaf is pretty separate from world government, so it makes sense to me. Only giants of world government work with, besides Harold recently, were Oimo and Kashi, but they left it. Yeah, I guess I'm trying to think, like, what did Emu ever see through Harold's eyes? Or was it just like Emu basically phoning Harold to be like, destroy your country, build an army for me, when Harold finally said no and resisted Vidomi Reversi? Yeah, I guess Emu didn't actually know anything that happened there. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I think in my head, I thought Emu knew more than he did, but no, he's pretty in the dark about most of this, which makes sense. He's sheltered. His only connection to the outside world is 5 old guys who also don't like to go outside. Emu couldn't read. Yeah. Emu couldn't read. I didn't notice that there was 4 lines of a message there. I just read the first line. Probably not. Emu couldn't read, and that's a joke. Couldn't read Harold's whole memory since Harold knew about the Needhogger fruit. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just like I assumed Emu was like all-knowing. Not all-knowing, but like all-knowing in the reader's sense of like anything the reader knows, Emu probably knows. Yeah, he only would have got Harold's surface thoughts. Yeah, Omen is a really cool attack. And firstly, that is because I love the name. And secondly, I love, I like how in Jujutsu Kaisen, there's all the hand signals. Naruto does it too, but that's more quantity over quality. Jujutsu Kaisen, I love oh god, I've never what I've never done is like actually try and memorize how to do them. If I got into Jujutsu Kaisen when I was like 14, I would 100% know how to do every domain expansion hand sign. But I mean, I know that Sukuna's is some like combination of like that or something, I can't really remember what Gojo does with his other fingers other than the crossed ones. Hikari uses something like that. Was that Ryu Ishigori's? But was Yuta's something? I know it's like one hand forward. I want like, yeah, I don't know. But either way, the whole point. Yeah, not going to read that one out in case anyone watching this hasn't read the manga for Jujutsu Kaisen. But yeah, the double middle fingers. But yeah, I love that Omen attack with like that. I don't know how much of my hands are being captured on camera right now, but that is cool. I love Emu's aesthetic in every way. Oh yeah, yeah, Oro does Wakanda. Yeah, very cool chapter. Looking forward to talking about this with my friend later. But yeah, there's not many times in One Piece where I finish a chapter and I'm like, wow, we're gonna get a cool fight next week. One, because One Piece isn't as much about like one-on-one fights nowadays. But secondly, because fights just aren't what I come to One Piece for. I come for the characters, world building, the plot. The fights are usually like okay by shonen standards. I'm looking forward to this. I'm very much looking forward to this. Yeah, it's a cool. Raf says, "Yeah, it's a cool technique. Can't wait to see how this chapter is in the anime and for Toei to make Zoro's fight more hype and make Sanji look lamer in comparison." Yeah, yeah, they might do that. I mean, for whatever reason, they might just, for some reason, put Zoro on the other side of Wano so he has 10 million miles to charge up and do a big flashy aura explosion that's even bigger than the Omen explosions. They might do that. The Sanji, I guess I didn't talk about the art. I love the art this chapter. The Hyridin thing I talked about. Um, the Zoro and Sanji bits look cool. Kind of wish there was bigger panels, but hey, that's One Piece. I love the halberd that has the cannon in the pole. That is beautiful. Same. I wonder if Loki and Luffy will team up, or Luffy lets Loki go solo for a bit. Yeah. I'm gonna guess we're. You know what? My prediction is next chapter is Loki versus Emu, and it's gonna end with Luffy entering. So I think we're gonna get one chapter. Any thought on the spark with Sanji? Could this his conqueror's haki start to awaken? I didn't know the zap. Yes, literally a baching. Yeah, that's. I mean, Oda like draws sparks for. I know. Here's the thing. I'm not massively invested in hockey as a power system. I'm much more into devil fruits. I know Oda usually does lightning for conquerors, but I feel like sometimes he's done lightning for armament. But you mentioning that, yeah, I think this little obscure baching spark here has got to be a little hint because I 100% think Sanji talking to Gaban earlier in the arc about Conqueror's Haki is seeding that he's going to awaken it here. So I think that's a good way to do it. Have him do it in an ineffective way. It's like Zoro using it on those random scrubs in Onigashima. Oh, was that in the manga? That was an anime original, was it? I know it was expanded in the anime. Yeah, he was with Armament too, like Ulti and Wano. Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see. But anyway, I need to go feed my cats. So I'll read one more message. Zoro doing that in Onigashima was anime original. Okay. Yeah, I knew it was expanded. I couldn't remember if it was entirely. Yeah, I guess the first time him using it was cutting Kaido then, so pretty effective. But yeah, if this is seeding Conqueror's Haki, I think that's a cool way to do it. But that's the thing. Like, I'm here to talk about what I love about One Piece. I'm not going to spend much time talking about Haki. If it's vital in the chapter, I'll go on about it. But like, it's like pretty low on my totem pole of things I love to talk about in One Piece. Like, I would much rather talk about this halberd that has a cannon that shoots a black fire smiling jack-o'-lantern. That is sick. That is wonderful. I love it. Yeah, as I said, gonna need to go feed my cats. I will, I am gonna promise, absolutely say, I will definitely upload both of these to YouTube with tomorrow. I'm not going to say it's going to happen today, but I will do it tomorrow. Go feed those cats. Yeah, Emu is super sick. Love the art of this chapter. But yeah, I'll be here next week for Kagurabachi and One Piece once again, unless Kagurabachi's on break. I didn't check. But yeah, thank you for watching. Thanks for giving me plenty to talk about in the chat. And I will see you next time. Bye bye. Have a great whatever time of day it is.